Legislation has been introduced to defund PBS and NPR. Public media workers who are organized with the National Association of Broadcast Employees and Technicians, NABET-CWA, protested these proposals last week. Let's jump right into last week in Southern labor. Here is what workers in the United States South and the American colonies were up to from March 28th to April the 4th. In this roundup, all information on Florida's public sector union elections comes from McKenna Schuler's monthly roundup of Florida union news. You can check it out on her website, caringclassrevolt.substack.com, where you can get more information about Florida labor as well as exclusive details about the union elections that we reference here. In new union campaigns, 24 workers at ProCal Mobility in Jacksonville, Florida, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, IAMAW. 19 workers at Starbucks in Lawrenceville, Georgia, filed a petition to hold a union election with Starbucks Workers United. 13 workers at Hydro Evac in McDonough, Georgia, filed a petition to hold a union election with IUOE Local 926, a union going by the name of Amalgamated Workers Local 298, which is an affiliate of the International Union of Allied Novelty and Production Workers, which is an AFL-CIO affiliate, despite its name sounding very sketchy, is attempting to raid a unit of 86 workers employed by the city of Port St. Lucie, Florida, who are currently represented by the Federation of Public Employees, which is another AFL-CIO affiliate, which is against the rules. I don't know what's going on there. McKenna noted that the raiding union is based in New York and has never represented workers in Florida before. So very strange situation going on there. 45 firefighters for DeSoto County Fire Rescue in Arcadia, Florida, filed a petition to unionize with the Suncoast Professional Firefighters and Paramedics, IAFF Local 2546, and workers likely pushed by their employer filed a petition to decertify IUOE Local 83697 as the union representing 63 workers at Alutrim, North America, in Lebanon, Kentucky. In election results, 718 workers employed by the Manatee County School District in Bradenton, Florida, voted 224 to 11 in favor of recertifying the Manatee Education Association. 5 workers at Atlantis Healthcare Group in St. Just, Puerto Rico, voted 2 to 3 against unionization with SEIU Local 1199. However, 3 workers for the same company in another Puerto Rican city, Fajardo, voted 2 to 0 in favor of unionization with the same union. 93 workers at Dodge Core Aluminum in Chaves, Kentucky, voted 30 to 59 against unionization with the United Steelworkers, USW, and 92 workers employed by the University of West Florida in Pensacola voted 13 to 2 in favor of unionizing with the Independent Association of Public and Private Employees, IAPPE. 24 workers at Starbucks in Katy, Texas, voted 10 to 10 in a union election with Starbucks Workers United. Ties go to the employer. 493 workers employed by the Jackson County School District in Marianna, Florida, voted 197 to 12 in favor of recertifying the Jackson County Education Association. And 19 workers at the American Red Cross in Tulsa, Oklahoma, unionized with the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW Local 1000. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. In grievances, unfair labor practices, and court cases, as you will remember, the Trump administration issued an executive order purporting to take away union rights for most federal workers. On April 4th, several unions filed a lawsuit against the order, alleging that the order is illegal for 2 reasons. For one, because it is in retaliation for First Amendment protected speech, and that the order overbroadly applies the national security exemption in the Civil Service Reform Act. Also, the Maryland father who was kidnapped by ICE and taken to the El Salvador prison camp turned out to be a union member, a first-year apprentice of the Sheet Metal, Air, Rail, and Transportation Workers Union, SMART. The union put out a statement calling on the government to have him returned, and they have supported rallies to demonstrate their support for his return. It is worth noting that SMART is not a left-wing union. They are a standard, more conservative building trades union, so for them to come out as strongly as they have is politically interesting. The International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, IUPAT, also put out a statement condemning his abduction and the broader actions by ICE. So far, at least 6 of the people abducted have been union members. Strikes and bargaining updates, workers at Starbucks won a core bargaining demand, the ability to pause mobile orders when it gets busy. Another win for the Starbucks union. Layoffs continue to be rolled out in the federal government. Last week, 900 workers for the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, were laid off. In response to these firings, the AFL-CIO said NIOSH is a highly skilled and efficient agency that delivers critical health and safety expertise for both workers and employers, protecting workers in some of the most dangerous industries like coal mining, firefighting, construction, and healthcare, and is responsible for providing medical monitoring and services to 9/11 responders and survivors. Firing the NIOSH workforce sets up a domino effect of serious and dangerous consequences. The government will no longer research emerging health hazards and methods to prevent mine explosions or certify the safety of respirators and other critical personal protective equipment. This action is a gift to corporations. Manufacturing workers at GE Aerospace, unionized with IUE-CWA, held a nationwide day of action last week, including Local 83701 in Madisonville, Kentucky, as they bargained for a contract with increased wages, retirement security, an end to offshoring, and more. CWA members at AT&T Southwest have voted to authorize a strike if necessary and have been demonstrated their support for the bargaining team on the job. Flight attendants at PSA Airlines, unionized with the Association of Flight Attendants, AFA-CWA, held pickets nationwide to demand a fair contract. They've been bargaining for 2 years and recently voted 99% to authorize a strike. Video game workers at ZeniMax Studios voted by 94% to authorize a strike if the company continues to stall at the bargaining table. Workers there are unionized with ZeniMax Workers United, CWA. And in political and legislative updates, bipartisan legislation has been introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives to overturn Trump's executive order ending federal worker union rights, to applause from the AFL-CIO and federal unions. Workers across the country are hitting the streets in their cities on Saturday, April 5th, to protest the actions of the Trump administration, with many major unions endorsing the day of action, including the nation's trade federation, the AFL-CIO. Tariffs hit the world in a big way last week. Unions, historically supportive of tariffs, have been hesitant to full-throatedly endorse these actions due to their slapdash nature. The UAW has been more unreserved in their support, but the AFL-CIO noted in their statement that while the strategic use of tariffs can be an effective tool to support our industries and protect jobs at home, they must be accompanied by policies that invest in our manufacturing base and a strong commitment to promoting workers' fundamental right to organize trade unions and bargain collectively. The United Mine Workers of America, UMWA, is raising the alarm about actions that the Trump administration is doing that could hurt coal miners, including the defunding of NIOSH. Alabama's governor signed a bill into law last week that will give state employees and teachers paid parental leave for mothers 8 weeks and fathers 2 weeks after childbirth, adoption, stillbirth, or miscarriage. 200 workers at GE in Louisville, Kentucky, and members of IUE-CWA Local 83761 received notices this week that they have been targeted for deportation by the Trump administration and must leave the country by April 24th. Their union said in a statement, "These workers came to this country legally and are hardworking, tax-paying members of our community, raising their families and living their lives peacefully. They come to work every day at GE to build appliances for the American people. They deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Blaming immigrants is an age-old trick to create fear and distract us from the takeover of our economy by billionaires." The union also called on the administration to restore their status immediately. The Kentucky AFL-CIO also put out a statement supporting the affected migrants. Legislation has been introduced to defund PBS and NPR. Public media workers who are organized with the National Association of Broadcast Employees and Technicians, NABET-CWA, protested these proposals last week. There is more in the roundup, but you'll have to subscribe to the newsletter to get it, tvlr.fm. If we missed anything, let us know at tvlr.fm/contact. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.
Which side are you